2020. So, 2020, we made it over. We made it. We made it. Describe 2020 using one word, or maybe just a few words. Like, how would you describe your experience of 2020?
Blessed.
Blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Why blessed?
Because I can't think of any reason why. I mean, we were just blessed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like I experienced much of what many experienced this year. So I say blessed.
Yeah. I would say for me, I don't know, like one word, but I guess maybe like still or calm. Like, it wasn't just a panic year for me. It wasn't, I wasn't frantic or just extremely stressed about anything. It was just kind of like chilling, you know? That's what it felt like for me, honestly. I just felt like we were cooped up in the house, chilling, and that was that. And I don't feel like, kind of like you said, a lot of other people's experience of 2020, like, I didn't have that. It was just kind of different for sure, but in terms of how it affected me, it was, yeah, just a normal year, I guess. What do you feel like was most challenging about 2020 for you?
I think the most challenging thing for me was, I guess, just seeing how everybody else reacted to this, everything that's going on around us, especially people of faith or supposed to be faith. How we respond in the midst of chaos when we have a refuge and an assurance, and our response shows that we don't even know what that is. And so I felt like that was probably the most challenging part for me, or the most painful part to see for me. It's just how we respond to things that happen around us, and things that are going on around us. It's sad.
Yeah.
And when we know what faith truly is, not the things that we see, but
I think one of the most challenging things for me in 2020 was, well, number one, like, just seeing all the suffering. Like, you know, it's, even though you're not experiencing it, like, you feel the hurt and the pain of other people and other, you know, people that have lost people that are close to you. That was painful for me. And then I guess the second thing was just to, it was hard for me to, like, get out of my phone, like, stay off of the media and stuff. Just like all the headlines coming up, and then, you know, the president that we had at the time, all the stuff with that, and then the Black Lives Matter, and it just seemed like a whole lot of just stuff in the media. You know, you're scrolling, you can't get past it. And I remember like when the pandemic first started, like multiple times a day you could see just how many people died in your city, in your county, in your state, and it was just a lot to try and like block out for me. So that was probably the most challenging, just to keep all of the noise out and just kind of focus on peace, focus on God, what He says, and yeah. We talked about what was most challenging. What was the easiest for you during 2020?
Oh, let me go back. Let me say one more challenging thing first. Another challenging thing was working from home.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still not used to working from home. Like, and although I don't have to necessarily work from home, I'm choosing to right now until we can get to a place where I don't necessarily have to be uncomfortable at work.
Yeah.
Because I know even if I did go back to work, I would be uncomfortable. So, but just adjusting to working from home was probably the most difficult thing, because it's hard to separate
work
from home. And I was a beast at it
Yeah.
before all of this happened. Like, I left work at work and home at home. Like, it was easy for
But
me
it's
to do
harder
that.
because work is home now and home is work now.
Yeah.
So it's like it's easy for you to, you know, get to your end of day and like continue working, because it's not like you have to leave from your place of work to go home. Like, you're already here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I may as well just, you know, keep working. And then just like, I don't know, the stress of work sometimes too. It's hard to like just leave it somewhere.
Yeah.
It happened here,
Yeah.
in my place of relaxation and peace, and this is where I typically wind down or whatever. But it took place here, so it's
Yeah, and just where I used to be, I'm only doing this amount today at work, and I could literally get done with that, be done.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I know there's work still to be done. I can work an extra hour or 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because I'm here, and ain't like I gotta go drive home, make dinner, do all that. I can have dinner on while I'm still working, or I can wash clothes while I'm still working. And all of that stuff, just the meshing of it all is just terrible. Now, this is something that I would never wish again. Like how people wish, oh, I wish I could work from home. No.
I mean, I think some people are different though. I think
Yeah.
some people prefer.
And I guess it
And I
depends
guess
on the
like
type of
with
job
your
you have too.
lifestyle though, like if you have kids or whatever, it may be more, you know, beneficial for you to work from home and be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
Be able to do laundry while you're working or whatever, cook meals and all that type of stuff. But for some people, they don't like being productive at home. It's just like, whether you have an office or not, I think it's harder. Because a lot of people say, you know, have a designated space, have an office. And I mean, yeah, it helps not to work in your bed or whatever, but still, like, I'm still at the house. And it's just, I don't know, it's harder to just focus. Yeah.
But you said easiest thing. The easiest thing for me this year, I think it's been able to like block everything out. Like I've been able to, I feel like anyway, not just be fazed by what all is going on. Like, even though we hear all of these bad things, people dying, family members dying, pet family members getting sick, president, Black Lives Matter,
And it's
all
not
of
like
this stuff.
blocking it to be dismissive
Yeah.
of it. It's like, I can't let this affect
Distract
me.
or shift my peace or cause me to not, to feel like,
shake my faith
Yeah.
and all that type of stuff.
mhm.
I think the easiest thing for me this year has been to, I don't know, I feel like I really focused on resting more this year and kind of taking advantage of the moment that we're in, because it's like you can't change what's happening, but like you do control your response and your perspective. And so it's like, okay, we're home, so like why add more stress to the situation? Like I'm gonna see it as a plus. Like I get to work in my robe, get up 5 minutes before work in my robe, work. I get to go right into the kitchen, make a snack or whatever. On my breaks I can watch TV. Like I just chose to see it as like a benefit. What parts of you do you feel like were strengthened in 2020 or as a result of 2020?
I guess my understanding that, you know, there are things that are out of your control, but just understanding that because we're believers, because we walk with God, we have nothing to worry about at all. And something that I just firmly believe, regardless of the outcome of whatever happens, it's still a victory, or it's still a plus or a win.
Yeah.
Because all things work together for the good of them that love him. And so that has just been evident more to me than anything. Although the bad seems to happen around us, or even sometimes to us, you always come out better from that situation. So I think where I have been strengthened in is just understanding that more, that everything has a purpose and there's a plan for every single thing that we endure, encounter, and all of that, and we're always going to come out better, stronger, greater, once we choose to get through it and follow Christ through it. Now, if we choose to just dwell on that and sit in it, then that's on us. But once we allow God to lead us through whatever it is that we're going through, and choosing to, in that moment, be able to see God in that situation and not necessarily seeing him outside of something that's going to pull you out of it. Seeing him in that moment, understanding that no, he's not just in this distant place where he has to come and rescue you
After
out.
the fact.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah. Or when you're buried deep in something, he has to come and pull you out of it. No, he's right there in the midst with you. And so because he's right there in the midst with you, because he's the God of everything, the creator of everything, the God over that mess, I know this mess can't overtake me because he's right there with me. So, that's been strengthened more than anything to me. And probably also that just blocking out everything, just choosing to be able to shut things up around you, like silence the noise, and to just be at peace. Choose to be at peace.
I'd agree that my faith has definitely been strengthened. I can't say that at the beginning of it all I wasn't a little bit afraid, because first of all, it was like it came out of nowhere. And then it was like, it was impactful in so many ways. Like 1 minute you're out and about, you're able to be in large gatherings, you're able to hug and all this type of stuff, and then instantly like no touching, mask on, gloves on, kind of like all this stuff in the media putting you in like fear mode of like, you know, don't go outside or you're gonna die. And you know, it's just like, and then the thousands of people that you hear are dying every day. I can't say that I wasn't like a little bit like, whoa, shocked at the beginning, but I think just over time, like, kind of like we've been talking about in church, or we talked about in church, it's in the knowing. I think my knowing has been strengthened. Just knowing who God is and letting that be that, and knowing that none of who He is, nothing about Him changes because of the circumstances. And that's why you can be at peace. That's why you can be in the midst of all of this chaos and still be fine, still be okay, still stand strong, faith still be stable, because nothing about my God has changed. So that's what has been strengthened for me. So where do you feel like you spent the most time and energy, effort last year?
On everything but myself.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
I think I have just been going and helping and doing and, serving. And I will say that I will honestly say that I neglected me last year.
Yeah.
I really did. Because of, I don't know if it was amplified because of that, but because of everything that was going on, I felt like it was, and not necessarily that I'm just required to do anything, but it's just I felt like I needed to in order to keep things going or whatnot. But yeah. So everything but myself, I would say that.
Yeah. I think for me, I feel like I spent a lot of time thinking about doing stuff and not actually doing it. I feel like I exhausted myself with like the mental to-do list of things, and I need to do this, I need to do that, this needs to be done, I want to do this, I want to start doing this, I want to start blah blah, and I never actually did any of it. And so a lot of days were spent overwhelmed just thinking about all the stuff I had to do, and then by the end of the day, end of the week, end of the month, like, okay, what was done, so I feel like this year I want to just do it, stop thinking about it, stop saying this is what I'm going to do, and literally just do it. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I was exhausted a lot of days just from thinking about what I had to do and then still didn't do anything. So I definitely want to change that this year. So did you set any goals last year? And if so, what goals did you actually accomplish or stick to?
I've been talking about losing weight or reading more. And here's the thing about the goals that I set, I don't put numbers to them. So that's why there's really no measurement for success. Because I never put a number. I want to read a little bit more.
But we also don't ever put a plan to anything either. So it's like, I want to lose weight. Okay, what are we doing? What are we going to change?
But also, even to get to that, to be able to plan it, you got to put a number to it. I just can't say lose weight. I can lose a pound. That's weight loss. Yeah. Or I can read an extra book of the Bible. That's reading more. What define things specifically? Things have to be defined in order for you to be able to measure things accurately or have a measuring system. So, yeah.
Or like we want to save money.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
What does that mean?
Putting a number to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of my main goals was, of course, losing weight for 2020. Did not do that.
You did. At the beginning?
Well, yeah, at the beginning, but I just feel like I didn't stick to it, so it doesn't really count, So
you learned that you can do it.
Yeah, I learned that I can do it. I learned that I can be consistent with working out. So that was nice. Another goal of mine was to wake up earlier in the morning. Definitely didn't do that. So yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I can't sometimes. Just 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And it doesn't matter how early I go to bed either. Like I just something about getting that extra hour, extra 30 minutes is just I don't know. I ain't willing to let it go. But yeah. So yeah, I didn't meet any goals basically. Definitely looking forward to meeting some this year. That brings me into the next question. What habits from 2020 do you want to change in 2021?
Drinking my allotted amount of water.
Oh.
What were you thinking?
No, I thought you were saying drinking as if you were just a drinker. I thought you were saying drinking is a habit you want to change. That's why I was like, what?
But drinking the amount of water that I should drink a day, staying hydrated. Having a wake up time and a specific sleep time too. In doing that, well, which I haven't started that yet, but I would like to. Specific sleep time, specific wake up time, and make that a habit every day. Mm-hmm. And I guess stopping work when I'm supposed to stop, when I get off, and not doing anything extra. And also another habit that I want to do, that I want to change, or something, I don't consider this a habit, but resting more this year. Choosing to take rest, take time off from things and everything, going somewhere, getting away. I want to do that too.
Doing more for yourself.
Yeah.
Habit I want to change in 2021, my eating habits. I want to...
Well, that too, for me.
Yeah, both of us have that goal. I want to change my eating habits. I want to eat more fruits and vegetables and whole foods in general. And like we talked about, making other things like treats, you know? Like if we want a dessert, let's go out and have a dessert. Let's not go buy a 32 pack of cookies.
Or a gallon of ice cream.
And claim that we're only going to eat a few. Mm-hmm. Let's just go get
ice cream from a special place, or cookies from a special place. One serving size.
And that way you're not tempted to keep on. Because the thing with us is like, we'll buy a pack of cookies and eat cookies for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm. After every meal.
Yeah. Or same thing with ice cream. So it's just like making things more of a reward or treat than, you know, an everyday thing. So eating healthier. Definitely want to start, like I said, waking up earlier, starting my day earlier so I can be productive. Because for some reason I just feel like trying to do stuff after work is way harder than doing it before. Like working out early in the morning to me is way easier than trying to get off work and then build up the energy to go work out. So I want to be more of a morning person, hopefully. What is more meaningful? What is, I don't know what I'm saying. Like after 2021, what do you feel like has become more meaningful for you now?
After 2020.
After 2020.
Just spending time with people, like, I think, like, time is just so valuable, and we only have a limited amount here on this earth, and if nothing has shown us this year, shown us that, and so, I think just spending time with people more valuable. So one thing I want to do is to visit home more, at least once a month, going home, because I know for me, I don't go home but probably on holidays. Like this year, we didn't even go, except I went for Thanksgiving, but just traveling home more and trying to visit and spend time with family when we can, as safely as possible. But yeah, and just calling more and talking to people and stuff like that.
I think it's the same for me too. Just, it's definitely, it's not that it wasn't important before, but I think there's a sense of more urgency now, like to just cherish moments and not take anything for granted. And I think another thing that is more important to me is just like doing the things that you want to do, going to places that you've wanted to go, just having experiences that you've wanted to have, and not always putting every, we got to be cautious and we got to be, mindful of planning and finances or whatever, but, sometimes you just got to do it, because life is numbered. Our life is numbered, and so just doing more of what you love to do with the people that you love, for me, is like important now. So yeah, 2020 was great.
Yep.
And some people may not agree, but yeah, nothing about God's faithfulness to us changed. And I don't feel sorry, or I don't apologize for feeling that way. I'm sensitive to the experience that other people have had with 2020, but I mean, it wasn't that for me.
But that's the thing about it, it was just an experience.
Yeah.
It was something I walked through, but we have to understand that God was right there with us in that.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference in an experience that you have, is whether or not I choose to understand that God is present or not. That's the difference. That makes all the difference in everything that we encounter, is my choosing to understand God is right here with me.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that determines how you view your 2020, again, is like your response, your perspective, your mindset about it all. Like everyone has shared certain experiences from 2020. We were all living through a pandemic. We all lived through the Black Lives Matter issues and racial inequality and all that type of stuff. Like, we all experienced some of the same things, and individual things that we went through. But it's just how did you respond to that? How do you choose to see it? And do you choose to dwell on the negative, or do you choose to see God in everything? And I feel like at the end of the day, that determines your year. That determines your day, your week, how your month went. Everything. It's just response. That's the one thing that we control, is our response, our actions. So 2020 was great.